I sort of wear this body with pride, and I'm not that fazed by what my body looks like now. Like I've sort of built it back up to what I used to be and what I like to present.
I was given the option to have plastic surgery to remove my scars, and at 18, and instead I went on a trip around the world and did climb the Eiffel Tower. And to me, that is what I want to do with my legs, and that's what they are to me. I don't have to like them. Like, some people don't like their hair, some people don't like their facial features. It's about accepting your body as it is and being happy with yourself every time you look in the mirror. And when I look in the mirror, I don't see what's wrong with me. I look in the mirror and go, did I train today hard enough?
I'll be happily out there with my shirt off or in short shorts having a swim. You know, it doesn't really faze me that much anymore. And I guess people probably see that and go, oh, well, if he can deal with that, then there's things in my life I can probably deal with a bit better.
How are you?
Chris Bond and Bridie Kean have much in common. Both amputees, both Paralympians, and fiercely competitive. But that's not what they see in each other.
Morning.
Morning.
Ready for training already?
Yeah, up and go. What are you having for breakfast?
Real food.
When I first met Bridie, she was
Coffee?
captain of the gliders. We actually met in the lift in London. And I didn't really know many other athletes, and we sort of just said hello in passing and didn't really think much of it. We had bigger focuses in London than our love lives. And then when we returned, we went to the welcome home parade, and we're just sort of the last couple of people there. And then we just said, oh, let's go for a drink. And then we just sort of got to know each other a little bit and respected each other as athletes and what we'd achieved in London. And we had a lot in common, actually, from day-to-day life to moving interstate for our sport to then potentially moving overseas to play our sport. And I don't know, something about Bridie intrigued me.
I mean, I remember when I met Chris, one thing that intrigued me about him was that I saw him wearing shorts and that he had similar scars to me. And not saying that it's a draw card or anything, but
Turned you on a little bit.
I was like, oh, nice legs. But I think we do have a similar life philosophy, and maybe sometimes it even gets us in trouble because we spur each other on when if one of us had maybe less expectations of life, then we would calm down a little bit. But instead, there's this constant drive to do more and never give up.
Sport has become Chris Bond's life. He took up wheelchair rugby 3 years ago. Within a year, the Australians were the gold medalists at the London Paralympics. Their funding depends on staying at the top. In a wheelchair, Chris can do almost anything. But he was never content to stay there. It took him a year of rehab to learn to walk again after complications from cancer cost him his lower limbs and most of his hands.
In the beginning, it's very painful. Like, the human body is not made to bear weight on your knees. And it takes a lot of adjusting for your skin and the pressure to be able to do it semi-comfortably. If you have heat issues, it's a struggle because they are silicone liners, trap a lot of heat, so it's quite uncomfortable in the sun. When I first started, it was pretty tiring. Like, I wasn't as fit as I am now. It's almost like being a baby again, learning how to walk. It's not the same. It's a lot of 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards. Here's your water.
Thanks. Ready to go?
Look nice.
Thank
Ready to take
you.
it off out?
Yeah.
But I guess now it's just how I live my life. I don't know any different anymore. Usually someone with an amputation has scars or fragile skin, and so I probably couldn't walk all day, every day. but the body does heal and your body does adapt very well. Eventually, you know, most people will regain the ability to walk if they have had amputations on prostheses. There were times where it would be easier just to stay in a wheelchair and not sort of learn to wear prosthetics and get out and do things for yourself. I actually had a purpose-built house unit built on my house back in Canberra, so I could still be there with my mum making meals and washing my clothes if I wanted to. And that might be an easy life, but it doesn't have the satisfaction of going out there and challenging yourself and making your own goals, starting your own life, your own passions, and being who you want to be.
Chris and his twin brother grew up loving sport. At 19, he was in his first job as a trainee chef and playing weekend league. Overnight, he was laid out by what seemed like a 24-hour gastric bug. No one was prepared for what was to come.
All I can really remember is they said, there's something definitely wrong with you, and we're going to have to operate on you, open you up, look inside and see what's going on.
Chris had leukemia. That diagnosis had only just been delivered when Chris developed septicemia, blood poisoning.
Because of the rate that it's going, we'll be honest with you, you may probably only have about a 50% chance to survive this operation. So say goodbye to your family, pretty much. So pretty hard thing at 19 years old. I got about 10 seconds with my mum. She said, I'll see you when you get out, just be strong. And then they wheeled me away. So I went into depression at that stage pretty heavily, pretty quickly. And it took a while to really get my head around what had happened, and I just couldn't stop asking myself why this happened to me. And then, I don't know, I've always had a sense that there's things I need to achieve yet before I'm done, which pushed me out of feeling sorry for myself and into an active mode of wanting to contribute back in ways maybe to the community or to other people who've had disability and gone through what I've been through.
Chris spent a year battling the leukemia, rounds of chemotherapy, therapy and recovery. Finally well, it was sport that opened up a new world for him.
Good, come on, free to go, breathe. Six strong. 6 nice, free to go, let's go, breathe.
In the 9 years since his amputations, Chris has completely remodelled his body.
Good work.
I need to be strong because my arms are my legs in some regard. It's just a part of being in a chair, but then also being an athlete, I do a lot of upper body work, being a wheelchair athlete. So yeah, it pays off, and why not reap the rewards of it and embrace it?
Chris started to swim competitively, yet he needed more. He found it when a coach for wheelchair rugby saw his strength.
3, 2, 1.
And I remember the camp, he got me in a chair and there's a few other guys on court, and he just said, you see that guy over there? He said, just push up to him and hit him as hard as you can. I was like, hang on, is this part of the rules? Is this for real? And he said, yeah, go have a go. So I did, pushed up, smashed into him. Ever since then, I just loved it. Just loved that, the impact, the contact, the raw nature of rugby.
3 years ago, Chris joined the national team and his talent saw him selected for the Paralympics in London.
I've always been a fit, sort of athletic sort of guy, so it's good out there to get out there and still play sport and be athletic. We like to push ourselves to the limit, see what these bodies can do. And there's nothing much that stops me in my own life, and I believe Riley probably thinks that way too. And in our sports, we are the highest functioning players in our team, so we're sort of able-bodied anyway, like in relation to our other teammates. They see us as able-bodied. We do everything that most people standing up would do, so I think that's just how I see us and myself.
So nice and tight. Right, so what I want you to do is your chin must get equal with that. Let's go. Nice and
Bridie trains at the same gym. She has had years to adjust to her amputations.
When I was 2 years old, I became quite sick, and my mum knew something was wrong because it presented like flu-like symptoms. But after a couple of days, she took me to a local doctor who actually saw that a rash was starting to cover my body. A lumbar puncture confirmed that I had meningococcal septicemia. So at this point, I was extremely sick, and they were told that I had 12 hours that would basically determine whether I would live or die. I started to get better. However, the rash had turned my extremities gangrenous, and so following that, they were informed that I would have to have those parts of my legs amputated. So I had a series of operations growing up. As a child, I tried to play able-bodied sport. I was able to walk and run with a little bit of pain. And then when I was 15, discovered wheelchair basketball.
away you go.
She's now the captain of the Australian wheelchair basketball team, the Gliders.
Good job.
Silver medalists from the London Paralympics.
It's quite clear to me now that when I play sport, I focus on what I can do, not what I can't do. Even as a female and going to an all-girls school where there's unfortunately so much pressure now to have your body look a certain way. For me, exercise and sport makes me think about my body in terms of function and what it can do. And when I'm lifting weights, I'm thinking, oh, I want to be strong, not skinny and look like it, you know, something I'm never going to look like.
As a couple, they have so much in common, but they're fiercely competitive as well, even on the small points.
Neither of us want to lose because we're just drilled to want to win, and it just leads to competition sometimes over small things, but it's always in good fun.
We've acknowledged that Bridie's better at wheelchair basketball and I'm better at wheelchair rugby, and they're both the only things we've set in stone.
And the
right
rest
now.
is up for
We're
grabs.
still working those other things out.
Things like how long they've been together.
Bridie's
Maybe
a timekeeper.
7 months
7
and 2
months?
days and 3 hours. No, I'm just
I think
kidding.
it's
Yeah, it would be
5 or
about.
6.
No, it's definitely over 6.
There you go.
September. No, I think it was August. It's been a bit of a blur.
I'll give that one
There's
to you.
been
Bridie invited herself over for dinner.
a
And
dinner date.
somehow I was making roast lamb that night, so I came off looking pretty good.
I was on the way to work, so I was stuck in traffic.
It's
and
quite
just...
a way around to get there, but
But he didn't know Brisbane that well, so he didn't figure
we're
it
both
out.
pretty new to Brisbane.
We had a lot in common, and we just found friendship and comfort in the fact that we're both on this journey alone in this state together. I guess we just sort of fell in love, and it sort of works. Yeah. Hey. After you.
Thank you.
Beyond sport, Chris and Bridie give their time to causes that reflect their values. After years of being involved in Canteen, the teen cancer charity, Chris was asked to take part in a fundraiser for young adult cancer survivors.
Hey.
How are you?
G'day, how you going?
Good to see you.
You too. I dragged Bridie into doing it with me, and we decided we really wanted to embrace the idea, and we got down to our underwear pretty much to, I guess, show that we are not scared to sort of reveal ourselves, and that, you know, every scar tells a story, and we should embrace the scars we have.
Then we go back onto the stairs. Lovely and romantic.
Having never done anything like this before, we didn't really know what to expect. So, you know, it took a lot for us to reveal ourselves with wearing not much at all. But, you know, we had a lot of fun with it and it turned out well.
I just adore this one.
Yeah, it just seems very comical to me, that photo. I guess looking at it in an artistic way, I might better appreciate it, but just us, you know, me at her butt and we had some jokes about it and not farting on me. And
No, there she
I
is.
like that photo, yeah.
Beautiful.
See, I like that one in colour. It's sort of
Yeah,
really
it's beautiful.
warm and
While they make everything look easy, Chris and Bridie acknowledge that's not always the case.
Because I think we're out. I probably look like I always have a lot of energy and want to run around and do a lot. And then Chris is probably one of the few people that I trust enough to be around and then just be like, oh, this is hard today. You sort of roll with those days and we face them together, I'd like to think, and then we move on.
we're sort of looked up to as elite athletes and as role models. I guess we try and be positive and upbeat as much as possible. But yeah, in the comfort of our own home, we open up a little bit to each other and, you know, share our thoughts about maybe being upset about things or having a bad day. But to be honest, 80% of it's not even about disability, it's just everyday problems. Today, just a review on my new legs. Just wanted to check how they are going. Maybe just a bit of advice on some adjustments that might make that a little easier.
Come and grab a seat. So how have the prostheses been?
Yeah, pretty good. I had a wedding last weekend and I was on them for about 5 or 6 hours. So, like straight, like I had pants on. And I just felt a little bit sore afterwards, but I think that's going to happen anyway.
Should we have a look at it then?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he goes, like, we'll often get him to come in and he'll say, oh, I've just been dancing all night on the limbs at a nightclub and out until about 3 in the morning, then come home and say, oh, gee, I've got a bit of a problem with the legs, and we'll get a call in on the morning and he'll have to come in and see us. But, you know, that's why we do this job. That's why we don't want to make a prosthesis that's never used. That's the whole idea. So just walk up and down a little bit and we'll just see how it looks.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Not much different with that extra sock now, but I can see how it would help later on.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe a big night or something.
So you can imagine for someone like Chris, just for him to go for a normal walk for 100 metres, he's using 50% more energy than you and I would be just walking around normally. So you can understand when you weigh that up against maybe in a wheelchair, that it just makes sense for them to use the wheelchair. But someone like Chris, he won't accept that. He'll do anything he can to keep his mobility.
Feeling the date?
Thank you, Chris.
No worries. Cheers. Okay, thanks guys.
No worries.
See you next time.
Chris trains 5 days a week. He treats it as his job right now. And the Australian team is riding high as the gold medalists at the Paralympics. Their next challenge will be the Canada Cup, a 10-nation tournament.
There's a lot of different ways you can approach a game, and it sort of does depend on who you're playing. My role, I'm a 3.5 player, so I'm a ball carrier. So my job is to sort of take control of the team on court, get that ball in my hands, and to be scoring the goals, and in defence to be defending any player or 2 players at once.
International opportunities are there for those at the top of the game. Chris has been headhunted for the Texas state team.
The American League in wheelchair rugby is the strongest league there is in the world, so a lot of players get headhunted to play. I was the same. After London, the Texas coach lured me in, and it can only increase and help develop myself in my game. Being over there with the best players in the world.
Oh, physically in the gym, pound for pound, he's probably in a normal mainstream civilian gym, he'd be one of the stronger guys there, and he's missing half his bits and pieces. So not only is he's strong here, but he's also physically strong. So all of those three, strong heart, strong mind, and strong physically, all put him together to be a fantastic package.
Texas will be even hotter than Brisbane, something Chris struggles with.
I sweat a lot, and my temperature is always a lot higher than other people. Because I don't have as much surface area of my skin as a lot of other people, And then some of the skin I do have is skin grafted, which doesn't sweat.
While Chris plans his season with the Texas state team, Bridie is concentrating on her studies.
There's obviously amazing opportunities up here at the moment, and I'm working a lot and hoping to progress my study by really concentrating on that for 6 months. So I'm going to relocate up here. There's already a Paralympic swim program here on campus, and you know, it's a pipe dream, but I'd love to see that sort of thing happen for wheelchair basketball, maybe wheelchair rugby, but adapted athletics, because that's the environment I had overseas in the US, and I think this university offers the same sort of freshness and definitely facilities to provide opportunities both in the academics and the sporting field. One thing with the referencing, this was my weakest area as a student, and so now when I mark papers, this is where it pays to proofread.
She's also a tutor at the university as well as doing a PhD.
It's a study that is actually going to look at physical activity and what motivates people and what the barriers are for people with disabilities. We're actually going to be looking at what motivates Paralympians. It's very close to home, but what I really like about it is that it's looking at the things that drive people to do things, not what holds people back. I want to work in preventative health. I just think that prevention is the best cure. So for that, exercise is such a healthy way to even connect with your own body and focus on what it can do. So the fact that I can run now is probably not, it's not good for me to run, so I don't do it too often because it is hard on my joints, but is something that as a child I didn't think I'd ever be able to do.
The Australians are on the road. The Canada Cup is contested by 10 nations, and it's the Canadians who will be their toughest competition. More than reputation depends on this match. Maintaining their funding depends on performance.
They're one of our big threats going into World Championships. Mentally, you know, we've gone over some video of Canada. We'll talk some strategy soon in our team meeting. But we just got to back ourselves. We've beaten Canada many times before. Yeah, it was a pretty tough week, but we did it in the end. We won the gold medal here at the Canada Cup. Bloody tough game again. Canada brought it to us, kept us going the whole game. Oh, it's great. You know, it sends a message to the world that we're still here, we're still good. We don't rest on our laurels from London. We're aiming to win World Championships this year and then go on to win back-to-back gold in Rio.
Bridie and Chris are fast approaching a separation of distance. He will be playing in America for 6 months, and Bridie will relocate to the Sunshine Coast.
Hi!
Opportunities to spend time together are precious.
When we get the chance, we like to come out and dine outside and just embrace the gorgeous city that we live in. Yeah, I mean, we sacrifice a lot of our social life for our sport, so it's nice to make the time for our friends as well up here that we've made.
It's nothing like Melbourne, and it's which is obviously where I'm from. So it's just nice to take it all in and make that little bit of effort to actually go and sit outside. They don't let you do that.
The Scar Stories book has just been launched. Chris is at a book signing to promote sales.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
His story is gathering attention.
Amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Chris has been a really great advocate for Scar Stories, as he's been for all the other organisations he's worked with in the past. Since coming on board and having his portrait taken, he's also ended up being our keynote speaker at our book launch. So we had about 110 people really just enthralled by his speech. He spoke with grace and he spoke about his whole experience with cancer, with the other organisations and with our organisation.
There you go. Enjoy. All yours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Cheers. Nice to meet you. I guess for us, it's that life doesn't end. A lot of traumatic things have happened to myself and Bridie, and it has changed our life, but it hasn't changed us as people. Willing to go out there and show that you can still be confident, you can still have character and have a presence, even though you may look different than other people now. You may bear these scars, and to embrace the scars.
Chris is going to Texas, and at the same time, I've got a lot of work to do here on campus. Both of us have amazing opportunities waiting for us, so we're kind of at the point where we're going to take them and get each other through them as well.
When I was 19 years old and I got really, really sick, I didn't see much past the week ahead. I didn't want to see past the week ahead, to be honest. But step by step, and every little milestone and little small goal that I accomplished, doors started opening for me, and I took those opportunities and went outside my comfort zone and I guess followed my dreams and my passion of being an athlete, and it's got me a gold medal now and a world championship medal. It just goes to show that no matter how low you can get, there's always some life left to live, and it might just be on another route.